Good morning, guys. Good morning. All right, so math today, you have the assignment. You have the assignment, which you will totally rock. This one's not too tricky. There are just a few things that I want to make sure that you guys know of because trust me, they can mess you up. They can mess you up if you don't do them. But otherwise, I don't anticipate anybody really struggling with math this week. Not too bad. I've already seen some quizzes come back. Awesome job, guys. I love that you're trusting yourself. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so we are now working on length. And length is how long something is. If we want to figure out the length, we want to figure out how long it is. And to do that, we measure them. The biggest issue is that when we measure things, we have to always make sure that what we're measuring, if we're comparing two things, we have to start at the beginning, even if it's just one. If I'm measuring how long it is, I have to start at the beginning. Because if I'm measuring, as we showed yesterday, my new shoe, there's my new shoe, and I know that it needs to be so long, and I start measuring here, and I'm like, yep, I need a shoe that long. It's not going to fit me because I cheated. So I've got to start at the beginning. No matter what you're measuring, you have to start at the beginning, okay? There's no cheating allowed in measuring. There's no, can I have a head start? No. No head starts in measuring. You have to start at the beginning, okay? And the next thing that I've noticed with this one, like I said, it's not hard. Kids can see it easily. Hardest part is listening to the directions or reading the directions. So you are about to look and find some objects. You are. Yep. And then it's going to ask you to put them in order. The hardest part, order from 1 to 3, is reading the instructions and seeing which way they want you to go, huh? Because otherwise it totally changes the answer. So on these lines, if I said, order these from 1 to 3, starting from the shortest to the longest. Okay, the biggest thing that I hoped you heard there is that I need to go from shortest to longest. All right, so which one is my shortest string? Top, middle, or bottom? The top is my shortest. You got it. So what number does he get? He gets the number 1. Okay, now I've already figured him out. He is already placed. I don't need to worry about him anymore. Now I'm just comparing these two. But I am still going from shortest to longest. So now out of these two, who is the shortest? Oh, and I hear you going, but Mrs. Froman, he's the shortest. He is the shortest, and that's why I've already taken care of him. He is the number 1 spot. But now I got to figure out who's number 2. Just like when you're running a race, the one that gets there first is number 1. But that doesn't mean that there's not a number 2 and a number 3 and a number 4th place. You got it. We have to keep figuring out who's next. So, out of these two, who's now the shortest? The top or the bottom one? The bottom. So what number is he going to get? 2nd place. So that means that that guy here in the middle is my longest, and he is number 3. You got it. He is number 3. Okay, remember when you add this ending to words, it means the most. Whenever you add est to an ending of a word, it means it's the most. So he is the most short, or the shortest. He is the most long, or the longest. Okay, now you're going to see why it's very, very important that you listen and you read those instructions. Because I was 1, 3, 2, but we know math teachers are, what are they? Evil. Halfway through, they might want to switch and be like, number these 1 through 3, starting from the longest to the shortest. Okay, now he had been number 1. Who's my number 1 guy now? The one in the middle. You got it. He is my longest. If I'm going longest to shortest, now he's number 1. Okay, who's my next one that is the longest? He's done. We don't worry about him. Who's my next one that is the longest? The top or the bottom guy? The bottom. So he's number 2. You got it. And that means that my shortest guy is number 3. So those numbers are all wonky donkey. So you do want to be careful. You do want to be careful and read those directions because they like to switch them on you. Okay. Then on the other part of one of your assignments, it's going to tell you that you need to draw your own lines. You can do that. You can do it. And then number your own. So if I have this guy and that guy, what? I drew 3 lines. I'm going to compare them. I'm going to say which one is the longest. Well, he's the longest. 1. He's the next longest. 2. Oh. I did not cheat. Excuse me. Okay, I might have cheated a little bit. I just wanted him to win. What's the first thing I have to do? I have to line them up. I have to line them up. So when I'm drawing my lines, I have to line them up. They have to start here at the same spot. They do. Otherwise, somebody is cheating. So that then I can tell which one is the longest or which one is the shortest. Okay? So on that other part, you will draw your own lines and you will compare them. Next page. I know so many pages, but it's not very hard. Just lots of pages. It's going to give you a box. And it's going to say, what items fit in this box? Well, they're going to give you a whole bunch of items. They're going to give you things like a pin. Would that pin fit in that box? No. They might give you this. Will that fit in the box? Yes, they will. So you have to just circle the things that would be able to fit in this box. Now, your hard part is that you can't actually, and they may not line things up. They might cheat. They might be like, here's a pencil. Okay, I didn't line those up, but can I really tell if he's going to fit in that box? Yeah, I can tell. There's no way he's going to fit in that box. There's no way. Because without them being something that you can grab a hold of, it's kind of hard to compare. We have to use our eyes, and we have to use our senses to be able to kind of tell. So if I have a crayon, will that crayon fit in the box? Yes, the crayon will. Okay, so they might not line them up as perfectly as we would like. They might not. But we can kind of use our eyes and be able to tell. Okay, all right, the next part. Oh, the next part. They're going to get really sneaky. They're going to get really sneaky. They're going to give you a box. And they're going to tell you, they're going to give you clues. And they're going to say, the string is the same length as the box. They even give you starting spots. They give you like, they also give you like the blue crayon. No, I don't want that one. The sandwich. Ha ha ha. The sandwich is longer than the string. Okay, here's the tricky part. Trust me, this happens every year. It tells you the string is the same length as the box. And kiddos always do this. Same length as the box, same length as the box. Urge! I gotta stop at the end of the box. Is that right, though? No. Why come? Why is that not right? The string is a cheater. He's a cheater. He tried to sneak forward. He totally missed this whole part of the box. He was sneaking forward. So no, he goes a little bit longer because he cheated. He did a little bit of cheating. So that gets everybody every year. But remember, that's the hard part, is that we have to think they've got to be lined up. Well, since they're evil. I tell you, math teachers are evil. Since they drew our starting line cheating, we have to compensate for that and make sure that we can see that we went a little farther. We're allowed to. You kind of pushed it there. We're allowed to. And then your next one, it'll tell you the sandwich is longer than your string. Okay, these two have the same starting point. So as long as my sandwich is longer than my string, then we're okay. Now, when it asks the questions, will the sandwich fit into the box? Well, we know the box is the same length as the string. And if the sandwich is longer than the string, is that sandwich going to fit in the box? No, he is not going to fit in the box, which is good because we'd forget he was in there and then it'd start to smell. Ooh, it wouldn't be bad. Okay, so that's part of your asked one. Now we get to measure. Now we get to actually measure things. That is so cool. That is so cool. Now, in your packet, there was a paper clip, but he is very tiny. So if the paper clip went missing, that's okay. That is okay. You can use anything you really want, as long as it's kind of small, and you just use it. You can't use a bunch of different things. It has to be the same. It has to be what we call consistent. That means you use the same thing all the time. Okay, so if you've lost your paper clip, that's okay. Because guess what I'm using? I'm using a cube. You got it. So I'm going to use a cube to do my measuring. So whatever you use is okay, as long as it's not too big. And you keep using just that item. Okay, because once upon a time, people did not do that. They did not. They would use whatever they had to measure. And then they would go and say they needed a new bed. And I need a bed that is 7 feet long. Well, whose foot? My foot in comparison to your foot is very big difference. Very big difference. Your foot is like, oh, so cute little foot. Look at what your little toes. Look at your little foot. My foot, which is a size 12. Yes, big foot. My foot is like this. That's my foot. So if I need a 7-foot bed, do I want 7 of these or 7 of these? So they came up with a way, and that's where we got our ruler. That's where we got our inches and our centimeters. We came up with things to help us measure that never change. That never change, so that people, when I say I need a 7-foot bed, they know that I need 7 rulers. That's how big my bed needs to be so that I can lay out all the way. Okay, so as long as you use the same thing and let me know what you used, that is just fine if you don't have your paper clip. Okay, and so for instance, let's see how we do this. All right, if I said measure this rectangle, oh, I got some stuff there. Okay, measure this rectangle. Okay, and I'm going to use a what? A cube. This is how you measure. Okay, so you take your item that you're measuring with, and this lid, and you might. What? I haven't even got there. No, I'm fine. It's fine. It's not fine? Well, what am I doing wrong? You're smart, see, you're getting smarter. I've got to start here at the end. I've got to line them up. You got it. There's no cheating in math, huh? There's no cheating. So I've got to start there at the beginning. You got it. So I got to make sure that his back and my back are lined up. And then, because you never know how many you actually have. I don't have that many cubes. So I'm going to use just one cube, and I'm going to show you how you can do that, okay? So I got to first line them up. First line them up with the back. Then I make a little mark right there. That's 1 cube. 1 cube. Then this is my new back. I line them up again. That is 2 cubes. Okay, am I done yet? Nope, I still have all of this to measure. I'm at 2 cubes though. This helps us to be able to keep track so we don't lose track of how many cubes I used. So then I go right here and I make my mark. Ooh, that's 3 cubes. Can we guess and predict how many cubes long this rectangle is? I think you're right. I think you're right. Then we line them up and I make my last line. How many cubes long is this rectangle? It took 4 cubes across to measure this rectangle. So, when I write the answer, here's my answer. How long is this rectangle? 4 monkey... Not 4 monkeys? Oh, I have to tell people what I used to measure it with? See, 4... What are they? Cubes! 4 cubes. How long is my rectangle? It's 4 cubes long. You got it. Okay, guys? So that's your other part that you're going to be working on. That's your other thing that for this week that you're going to be able to do. Okay? So I'm kind of, and that's assignment 2. That one's going to be coming on Friday, I think. But I did want to make sure that we got you guys kind of covered, because I know I had quite a few already give me assignment number 1, and I don't want you to be holding back and waiting for me. So I wanted to make sure I got you guys this. I might tomorrow for our math video, I might do some review things and stuff like that. And we'll touch base on this again. Maybe I'll get you some items to measure. Show you some different stuff. Otherwise, next week, we got some changes coming. Whoo-wee. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're probably going to be able to teach Mom and Dad how to do it. I know! You're going to be smarter than Mom and Dad. It's going to be awesome. Otherwise, for this week, go ahead and work on your measuring. And if you want to, try to find some different shapes. Tell me the vertex or vertices when there's more than one. We got edges. We got faces. You got it. That's what we have. If you want to do work on some of those too, we'll do some review. And telling time. Always good to tell time. Alrighty, guys. Until next time. Till tomorrow. I'll talk to you later. Bye.